Hi everyone, welcome back to Beyond Your Knowledge. So today we're going to be studying primary hyperaldosteronism, and I would like to share with you Isaiah 32:17, and says that, and the effect of righteousness will be peace, and the result of righteousness quietness and trust forever. How wow, beautiful promises. So peace, quietness, and trust forever when we walk in righteousness, and this is the result of righteousness. Amen. In Jesus' name. So peace, trust, confidence, okay, in righteousness, and Jesus is righteousness. Okay, so hyperaldosteronism primary. So in the primary hyperaldosteronism, so what we can say, so we're going to see the etiology here. Okay, so you're going to see the etiology. So we're going to see the clinical features. Okay, and then we're going to see the diagnosis. Okay, so let's just start it. So let's just move a little bit this here to the corner. Yeah, good. And then we have more room, so we're going to see this. Got it. Okay, so the etiology of the primary hyperaldosteronism. So how is the etiology? Well, the etiology have two things. So first, it is bilateral adrenal hyperplasia. So remember hyperaldosteronism. So but before we continue, so what does hyper mean? Hyper means an elevated or high levels, okay, and aldosteronism. So that means that the aldosterone, aldosterone is involved, and the aldosterone is produced where? In the adrenal gland, okay? And then the adrenal gland, yes, I think that we should start it that way better. Okay, so let's just go here and then just copy, and let's just talk a little bit about the adrenal gland before we continue, because otherwise we're going to get lost with this. Okay, so just jump into the disease. Okay, so first, yeah, there we go. So yeah, there we go. Let's just talk about a little bit of the adrenal gland. Okay, so let's just talk about adrenal gland here a little bit. So the adrenal gland. So the adrenal gland has how many layers? Has 1, 2, 3 layers. Okay, so from top to bottom you have your glomerulosa, your fasciculata, and your reticularis. Okay, this is in the cortex. Okay, then the other part of the adrenal gland, it is the medulla. Okay, so the medulla. Now the zona glomerulosa, zona fasciculata, and the zona reticularis. Okay, so each of those is going to produce something. Okay, so and then and the medulla, which is going to be the inner. So let's just see, just looks like something like this adrenal gland. Okay, so this is the cortex, and this is the medulla. Okay, and the medulla produce the catecholamines. Okay, so now yeah, so the glomerulosa, that is a mnemonic, so which is salt, sugar, sex. Okay, so this is one way to remember. And then salt is led by aldosterone. Okay, so sugar is led by cortisol. Okay, and then the other one, so yeah, so the reticularis, the hormone that is going to come from that is called dihydroepiandrosterone. Okay, so dihydro, yeah, it's a little bit long. Dihydroepiandrosterone, epinesteron. Okay, so yeah, so epinesteron. So what is the purpose of epinesteron? So basically this one, it is the precursor. So this one is the precursor, precursor of what? Precursor of female and male sex hormones. Okay, female and male sex hormones. Okay, including what? Including testosterone, and the other one that is going to include is estrogen. Okay, so including testosterone and estrogen. Okay, that's good. So yeah, now let's just talk a little bit about the medulla, so which is the catecholamines, and then you just need to mention here too, for example, epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, so basically those are hormones that help you with the stress, all those things. Okay, so I think with that in mind, so we can go and talk about some hyperaldosteronism. So hyperaldosteronism, high levels of aldosterone. So that means high levels of salt. So that means that the zona that is going to be affected, the zona glomerulosa, we're in the cortex of the adrenal gland. So now we're going to talk about the etiology of this hyperaldosteronism, primary hyperaldosteronism, and one of the things that is etiology is a bilateral. So bilateral adrenal hyperplasia. Say it again, adrenal hyperplasia. So that means that this is big things. Okay, this is approximately in the 60%, and or the etiology is the unilateral adrenal adenoma. So unilateral adrenal adenoma. Okay, so tumor adenoma. Okay, so this is the etiology. How do you think that the patient is going to present? So let's just figure out if the patient has high level of aldosterone, if the patient has a level of salt, so that means that salt is going to increase your osmosis. So that means that the patients can get what? What do you think? So the patient can get, yeah, you're right, hypertension. So there's more vasoconstriction, all those things. So also another clinical feature is the patient is going to have, so because they're going to be wasting your potassium, so that means that you are going to have hypokalemic alkalosis. Hypokalemic alkalosis, yes, there we go, alkalosis. So and then hypokalemic alkalosis is going to cause problem with your muscles, and it's going to cause muscle weakness. So the muscle is going to be affected. So and then what is going to cause in your muscle? So muscle weakness. Okay, and also muscle paresthesias. Yes, there we go. So there we go. So how we can diagnose this patient? Well, if you have, what do you have elevated? Yes, you're right, aldosterone. So that means that the diagnosis is going to be elevated plasma aldosterone. This is how diagnosis. Okay, and let's see what else. So, or you can see that the patient has a low renin. So it would be low plasma renin. So let's just shoot low, because in the plasma that we measure low plasma renin. Okay, and also yeah, so the activity of this one. And then the other thing that we can talk about for the diagnosis is an aldosterone remains elevated following oral saline load. So that means that even if you give to the patient oral saline load, so this aldosterone remains elevated following you oral saline load. Got it? Yes. So now hyperaldosteronism, when we have this, so the patient has a name that we can put to the disease, is going to be called Con syndrome. Got it? Yep. So what about, yeah, so now we're going to put a new slide here. Let's just mention the name of pathologies in adrenal gland, and some of those, okay. So let's just in some of those, so remember what are the zonas. So we have the zonas, so the zona glomerulosa, okay, the zona whoops, so yeah, GFR, zona fasciculata, zona reticularis. Okay, so now we have here cortisol is the second one, cortisol, aldosterone, and then the third one is going to be sex hormones or dihydroepiandrosterone. So let's just do it as it is. Dihydroepiandrosterone, abbreviate DHEA. Got it? So now the disease, so we're going to see the disease here. So you're going to do the disease in red. So if you have hyperaldosteronism, you can get Con syndrome. If you are in the cortisol, you can get Cushing syndrome. Okay, and then if you are in here, the disease is better. So yeah, and then if you are in the zona tricularis, so you can get, remember, too much hormones, for example, excessive hair growth, so the patient can get hirsutism. And hirsutism is an excessive hair growth. Got it? Excessive hair growth, and this is for the androgen production, and that is hypersecretion of the zona reticularis. Okay, so basically and then if we talk about the adrenal medulla, so which is going to be then this is the cortex, okay, and then you have your medulla. You can remember, you have your catecholamines, okay, and then the disease that you can get here is going to call pheochromocytoma. Pheochromocytoma. Okay, so pheochromocytoma, basically the patient can have sweating, okay, tremulousness, yeah, there you go. Okay, so yeah, tremolo, muscularness, okay, and yeah, for the excessive catecholamines, and yeah, so cool. Okay, so just to close, we saw the three zonas. So the zona glomerulosa, the zona fascicular, zona reticularis, each one producing aldosterone, cortisol, dihydroepiandrosterone respectively. So remember for the order of the zona in the cortex, so it would be G, F, R. So G, F, R, and for the what produce each of those, so you can remember A, C, D, and then the syndromes, which is Conn syndrome, Cushing syndrome, and then excessive hair growth, hirsutism. And then in the medulla, we produce catecholamines and Pheochromocytoma, tremesulousness, and all that things. Okay. So for Pheochromocytoma, that is, for example, the rule of 10 or the 90. So while 10% are malignant, 10% is not associated with hypertension, are not associated with hypertension. 10% occur in children. Okay. 10% is unilateral. Okay. No, sorry. So 10% is bilateral. 10% is malignant. 10% are associated with hypertension. 10% occur in children. So we can just write. Oops, sorry. So let's just write it here. 10% malignant. So 10% bilateral. 10% in children. Okay. And 10% associated with hypertension. So all those are 10%, okay. Yeah, so so basically it's some of those, and well, thank you so much for watching, and remember, we can do all things regarding us, and God bless you.